We gonna make it do what it do. We gonna make it do what it do, how it do when we do it. Okay? Because I'm running out of patience. Welcome back to my channel. This is part 2 of the Return to Purpose series. And I don't know what I'm going to title this yet, but I do know what we're talking about today. And that's when you have no choice but to sit down. Yeah, like lately I've been forced to just sit down. And that's uncomfortable, to say the least. Partly because I was sick. And that's uncomfortable, especially when you're sick for like long periods of time. And then it doesn't help when your medication makes you feel worse. So I've been sat down before I got sick, which is the funny part about it. Like within the span of the last 2 going on 3 months, I've been sat down in a numerous amount of ways. It all began when I was put in positions at my place of work to where I needed to go ahead and step away and leave. Then after that, it was a trickle-down effect to, like I said, my health. And I'm recovering. I'm feeling a little bit better now. But yeah, that's what we're going to speak on today. Because sometimes you try to fight against the current, but it'll just wash you away. Sometimes you're just like, oh, I don't want to sit down for any longer. I'm going to get up. I'm going to get back to it. And then it's like, no, it's not going to work. Not going to happen just because you wanted to on your own timing. That's really what it boils down to. Not everything's going to happen on your own timing just because you want it to. So now I do have a script in front of me here, but I feel like I communicate better with the camera when I can just speak how I feel instead of try to go word for word. It's like I have a gist of what I want to speak about, but I'm going to try not to ramble too much. But yeah, I didn't speak on this much in my first video, but I am in a transitional period in life right now where I am being forced to sit down and receive what is for me and let go of what's not. You know, dealing with the recent illness of mine, I had already made the decision to let go of different codependent toxic behaviors and habits that I had. So for instance, drinking and smoking. I'm going to get into my relationship with substances and addiction and things like that in another video, but just to briefly touch on that in this one, falling ill really forced me to not even indulge or overindulge in those certain areas. Not being around people as much. You know, I did speak on being in a period of isolation, but that has just always been kind of my life. I've always only really had a few people to connect with and speak to at a time. Probably why I do video diaries here on YouTube, because I have a lot that I want to say and experiences that I want to share with people, but letting go of those things that were holding me back, they were thwarting my potential, mainly because it was a fear and a coping mechanism. Like it was going hand in hand with my fears. My fears of confronting things within myself that were uncomfortable, and then a coping mechanism for pain that I wasn't dealing with. Well, let me tell you something. I wasn't just healing from the sickness. I had to also heal from different feelings of like guilt for even getting sick in the first place, shame, shame for even having addictions. Because I know a lot of people be like, oh, like, you can't call them addictions. They're not addictions, but if it's something that you battle with being able to stop doing or say no to, it's an addiction. And it's just been it's been a journey. Now, I don't know who, you know, this might resonate with. I don't know if you might also be in a similar state of where I am, and like you're in a young adulthood and you realize that you picked up habits earlier on in life that you know you got to get rid of in order to fully grow and develop into the adult that you know that you will become one day. Or if you've already, grown past your 20s and you're like, hey, well, I feel like I've missed a huge gap in my life. I need to go back and reflect. Whatever resonates with you, I know that I am sharing this because the bottom line message that inspired me to even make this video is that this too shall pass. Like whatever season it is that you're in, when dealing with healing, it's uncomfortable, but it's gonna pass. It was uncomfortable being sick. It was uncomfortable not feeling like myself, not having the energy, taking a whole week just to do my hair because I didn't have the energy to get up and do much. And then when I did, I felt sick and just wanted to go lay back down and needing that time to just heal. And it can be a lot. And like I said, I do need to go off the script a little bit because I will ramble and I have to keep this between like 10 minutes, okay? So bear with me, okay? Back to this. It's been hard being sat down, forced to sit down, because during that time, like, you only have yourself. Like, it's really just you. Like everybody else's life is going on. They're not sat down. You are. So you have to actively fight against depression and fight against whatever illness is, plaguing you, and actively fight against those negative thoughts that might creep in, that come with feeling stagnant, feeling unproductive, feeling lazy. Like, you're not lazy because you need to take care of yourself. You're not lazy because you need to heal. You're not unproductive just because you have a time where you need to rest. Like, rest. And that was hard for me because the whole time I'm feeling bad about myself. I'm sad. I'm angry. I'm like, damn. Like, I only had enough energy to will myself to clean up my surroundings. Like, that was it. Like, my physical appearance, I didn't even have it. I just didn't have it. And, for anyone else that might be feeling like you're behind the ball because you're in a point in your life right now where you don't have as much control over your everyday to day as you might want to, don't feel bad. Behind what ball? Like, what race are we in? With other people? You don't want to be in that race. And if you're in a race with yourself and you're your biggest competition, so to speak, use that in a positive way. Don't be so hard on yourself to where now you're downing yourself for not meeting high expectations that sometimes, let's be honest, they're unreasonable. It was unreasonable for me to think that I was going to do my hair and all this one other stuff that I genuinely did not have the energy to do. Feeling nauseous, let's be reasonable with ourselves. Let's be reasonable with our goals. Let's be reasonable with our healing journey. Let's be reasonable with how we place our expectations on ourselves. I'm not sure this message might be for, but if you resonate, please do not feel that guilt. Instead, transform those feelings into motivation to heal yourself and continue to do the work to heal yourself. And look at this as like as like a rebirth. I know I feel much different. That being forced to sit down really had me go through a lot of mental shifts and changes where I'm like, I don't even feel the same. Like, I was just speaking to my mother about this, but it's like sometimes I look in the mirror, I don't even really recognize who I'm looking at. But it's not a negative thing, it's not a bad thing, it's a good thing. I don't feel like I've seen who I've seen in the mirror since before I started those addictions that I previously had talked about, Take it as a rebirth, Take it as a chance to become new. And it is possible. It is possible to get the healing. Despite sometimes healing might feel like more hurt. It's possible to get to the other end of it. Stay dedicated to it, but take time and have grace with yourself, The theme that I want to leave off on is change your mind, you can change your life. And that is honestly a concept that I have been holding fast to since I was 15. And I was in a very sound place spiritually, or at least coming into my first bout of like spiritual transformation, because for the years prior to that I was dealing with a lot of depression, anger, thoughts, and loneliness. And those are some things that I will be touching on in maybe the next chapter of this Return to Purpose series. But for this chapter, I did want to speak on how important it is to allow yourself to be sat down and just go with the flow of life. Once again, that current, you can't just fight against the current. You'll mess around and drown. Like, sometimes you gotta just let yourself flow with the water, you know. And I'm hoping that you find the courage to do so within, you know. I cannot give that to you. No one, I don't know why. Why would you do that? Don't fight against the flow of life. You know, some of you know that it's time to let go of something or someone or some idea that you've held on to that's in turn been making you sick. Or, you know, stunting your growth and your healing. Let it go. Let it go. And I hope that you find the courage to do so. I can't personally give you that courage, but I do want to leave you off with the fact that whatever it is, just remind yourself that this too shall pass. And yeah, that's how I really want to wrap this up. Thank you so much for tuning in once again. And until next time.